Hello guys, welcome back. Let's continue our discussions about architecture details of single phase energy meter. Okay, here the first block is the power supply of an energy meter. This power supply can be your capacitive power supply or the SMPS power supply. Right, and the specifications as per the IS 13779 standard, this power supply should consume overall power less than 1 watt in the voltage circuit or 8 VA, and in current circuit it should be 1.5 VA. So what does it mean exactly? Specifications says that the self consumption of meter should be less than 1 watt or 8 VA, or in the current circuit should be less than 4 VA or less than 1.5 VA. सो जो उसका सेल्फ कंजम्पशन है मीटर का उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज जो ओवरऑल लॉसेस हैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोल्ट को दैट विल बी मोर. करेक्ट. इसको इस तरीके से और समझते हैं कि फॉर एग्जांपल इफ इट इज कंज्यूमिंग से 1 watt per hour, so this means that when it runs for 1000 hours, then it will consume how much watt? 1000 watt. 1000 watt. Okay. So this means that only it will consume 1 unit in 1000 hours. Okay, and 1000 hours is equivalent to around 41 days. 41 days. Okay. So जो ये आपका एनर्जी मीटर ये पावर कंज्यूम कर रहा है, दिस इज नॉट बिल्ड टू द कंज्यूमर. It is actually a loss to the electricity board or the power generation unit. So जो मीटर आपका itself overall जो power consume करता है should be less than that. Okay, and it's a very strict measurement from the specifications, and it is strictly tested in the laboratories. Okay, so here the designer need to very much carefully design the power supply of a single phase meter or any meter. Okay, the second point is voltage and current sensing circuit. Here your meter have some kind of a hardware which senses, okay, this much voltage is coming, whether it is 200 volts, 180 volts or like that, and the current sensing elements. Current sensing elements may be your shunt or your CT. CT means current transformer, or a Hall effect sensor. Okay, so this is a second major block in your architecture of a meter. The output of voltage and current sensing elements goes to the ADC port of microcontroller, where the ADC port may be your 12-bit or 16-bit sigma delta ADC. And about the designing of these components, I mean to say what kind of a resistance is used in the potential divider, how much is the resistance of a shunt, and the number of turns in CT in coil, and the other calculations about the V reference of ADC voltage and the saturation levels. I will take a separate lecture on this. Okay. So now let's come to the third point, electrical parameters. Okay. Let's assume that your microcontroller senses all the analog signals and converted into a digital values. That digital values may be 12-bit or 16-bit or 24-bit long. All these digital values passed through the computation engine or the computation algorithm, and finally it drives the electrical parameters. In the electrical parameters, the mainly are your the voltage, the current of your shunt and phase. Third one is the frequency, then your cumulative energy, apparent energy, reactive energy, and your how much is the power factor. So like so on, this comes under your electrical parameters. In the fourth block, maximum demand, time of use, time of day, or load profile, load survey, or the billing parameters comes in picture. So once your energy meter have all these electrical parameter values, then based on that it will calculate the how much is the maximum demand or the time of day of usage, and also records the load profile. Okay, and thus and also drives some billing parameters. Now here every topic needs to be understood separately, and I will cover again all these topics, the meaning of these topics, and what kind of a maximum demands and how it is calculated, and everything in my further videos, right? The fifth block is tempers and events, where your meter records any kinds of external events or the internal events which happened in the meter. And to know in detail about temper and events, please click on the above link as scrolled here. The sixth block in the meter architecture covers its RTC, battery and self-diagnostic. What does it mean? Every meter have a some RTC real-time clock which stamps down for every event or tempers and also used for billing purposes. And the specification says that this RTC should be within a range of plus minus 3 minutes per year. In energy meter, two batteries are used. One battery is permanently used with the real-time clock, and the other battery is used that can be a battery or a super cap like that, and it is used in case of a power failure. What does it mean? When say your there is no supply in the meter and your meter reader comes to take down the meter readings, then it can switch on the meter through this help of the second battery, right? And also the user can check the parameters on its display also with the help of this second battery in case if there is no power supply. And the third one is the self-diagnostic. Here your tender requirement says that okay, your meter should have this kind of a feature which should check for the how much is the life of battery is remaining, or how much is the life of E-square ROM is remaining, is there any kind of a corruption of data, etc, etc. Okay, now let's come to the seventh point. Seventh point is the LCD, liquid crystal display plus scroll switch. And it depends on the type of a LCD, different kind of interfaces can be used. If your LCD uses a I2C kind of a interface, then your microcontroller drives this LCD via I2C interface, and normally in a kind of a glass kind of a LCD, directly segment pins are connected to your microcontroller. And along with this, one scroll switch is also used to scroll down the different parameters on the LCD. The eighth block is a communication port. Your every single phase meter have some kind of a communication port. Maybe it's a optical port, infrared port, IRDA port, or RS232 port, or maybe a Wi-Fi port. And this port is used to communicate with the CMRI unit, as I explained to you in the lecture 1. And the ninth block is the memory. This can be your E-square ROM or a flash. Now why it is used? It is used to log all the temper activities. It is used to log the maximum demand. It is used to store all the load profiles or surveys. Maybe this may be for 30 days or 45 days. It is used to store all the billing parameters. So in a nutshell, overall these are the 9 blocks which covers the architecture of your single phase meter. So let's map all these things with the practical meter to have a feel of this. So once again, this is the meter, right? Here it's the LCD part and it's a segmented display. I mean here in this particular model, 128 pins are directly connected to microcontroller. This is the optical port, it's a communication port. This is a scroll switch, okay? And on the back side, it uses a capacitive power supply. And here are 2 batteries, 1 and 2 batteries, right? And this is my current sensing element, CT. This is my shunt element, second element to sense the current of phase. And this is my neutral missing CT to capture the temper. Okay, and here are some other memory chips and controllers. And this one is a magnetic sensor, right? Okay guys, this is all about the architecture of single phase energy meter. Along with this, let's discuss some important points. The first point is the code space size. So typically your single phase meter consumes 32 KB of memory if it is a plain meter, and in case if it's a DLMS meter, then it may take 64 KB of code memory or more than that, and maximum it goes up to 128 KB of size. Now next point is the memory E-square ROM size or the flash size. E-square ROM size, I mean to say that E-square ROM is used to store all these parameters, right? So typically its size depends on whether you are going to store the load profile for 30 days, for 45 days or 60 days, and how many parameters. The kind of a parameters stored under load profile or survey or under tempers or events is actually defined by your tenders. So all this particularly decides the size of a E-square ROM memory, and typically it goes up to your 8 KB of memory, kilobytes, or 16 KB, or 32 kb, depends on how many parameters we are going to save into the E-square ROM. Now the third point is the life of E-square ROM. This is a very important parameter which is considered in the meter design. Here the typical life of E-square ROM as per data sheet it is 1 million cycles. मतलब ये हुआ कि 10 लाख बार आप इस पे लिख सकते हो, और लिखने का मतलब ये कि राइट करना या इरेज करना. ओके. So here while designing the firmware we need to take care about that after how many minutes or how much time you are writing on the square ROM, and whether if this will continue, then whether it will be survive for 5 years or 10 years or not. Okay. The fourth point is the CPU clock or the microcontroller clock. In order to decide the CPU clock, many factors comes in the picture. For example, one is what is the architecture of your CPU, whether it is a 16-bit CPU or a 32-bit CPU. Because if it's a 32-bit CPU, then it will do the computation at a very fast rate. And the second parameter is the meter constant. Again, this meter constant is defined by your tender specifications or the IS specifications. Normally in our single phase meter it is 3200 pulses per kilowatt hour, and and apart from this there are some other factors that for this particular thing I will take a separate lecture on this topic. So okay guys, this is all about the meter architecture details of a single phase energy meter, and in my upcoming videos I will talk about the much finer design details of all these topics. And I hope that the contents of this video is useful to you. Thank you very much for watching this video and have a nice day.